everybody, this is Kim again, and we are going to work on some Christmas items. And I told you that I had some that I did a few weeks ago, so I wanted to show you what I've done. These are what we're going to make, some of them. I don't think I'm going to do everything. We're going to make these trees here. And what I did is, if you can tell, I put some, they're called mini diamond fillers, and I put some of those on just to give it a little sparkle. Now I have not, I've not put the triple thick on these yet. I will do that later, but here's the backs, and I'll tell you how I got that little shine to the back. So we'll make this tree today, and you can see the hole at the top. We'll make this tree, okay, and then I think we might make one of these. This is an ornament that I've made. And then we're going to make these snowmen here, and if you'll notice, I've got them drilled. I went ahead and drilled them, and I drilled them, let's see if I can show you. I drilled them from the top, okay, because I'm planning on hanging a bead down in this section here. So there's a snowman. That's going to be the pendant. These will be the earrings, and again, I've got the top drilled hole there, and so I have the, again, I have the earring pieces, and these are going to be some charms. I might make some earrings out of these as well, and I just drilled the hole through the hat portion. And I put the face on just using, and I'll show you what I used for that, a ball tool. Made his little hands like that. There's the back. And we'll talk about how this came together. Actually, the snowmen, this is Folk Art acrylic paint metallic gloss finish. And that is what I painted these. After they were baked, I painted those to give them kind of a fluffy, textured look. And if you'll notice, I did that on these as well. And you can tell there's like a textured look on them. And I'll show you how I did those. And then I just used the same brush that I did those, and kind of dry. The paintbrush was kind of dry, and I just swiped these to make them have, and I painted the edges to give them kind of a frosty look. A little sparkle and shimmer to those. And I also used that paint on the edges of this tree. Let's see, focus, there we go. And then if you'll notice the back, okay. I did make a couple little, we probably won't make these, I did make a couple just circles that have some of the glossy paint on them, front and back. And again, I have not put the triple thick. This is what the triple thick is. Deca Art triple thick. It's a gloss glaze. Like I said, I do have resin, but I don't like the smell of the resin necessarily, especially in the winter time. So I'm just using the triple thick, and it does a really good job. And if you remember the pendant that I did from the last time, let me grab that real quick and show you what the shine looks like on it. The necklace that we made together out of the last batch. See that pretty shine? And again, that's from the triple thick. Now I put the triple thick on. I'm not going to show you how to do it in this video, but I use a toothpick basically to put the triple thick on because I don't like it too thick and I want to make sure I don't have brush strokes in it. So that's what I do with that. And then I did make a few little beads, but I probably won't do that today. But we will make the snowman, we'll make this ornament, we'll make the trees. And again, here's a candy cane I made from a cutter that I had. And then I made 2 little earrings. And again, I have the holes already in those. So let's get started. I'm going to clear this off. I'm going to pause it, clear these things off, and then we'll get started on making. I'm going to come back, and what I'm going to do is show you the clays that I put together to make the colors that we have here. And then I'll pause it once again, and then we'll come back and actually start doing it, because I don't want you to watch me. It's like watching paint dry, actually putting together and having to condition the clay. So I'll go ahead, I'll pause it this time, I'll come back with the colors, explain my colors. Since last time we did one of these videos, you didn't really get to see much of that one, so I'm really trying hard to stay in focus here. So and again, I appreciate y'all's support and help with this. And I'm by no means a professional clayer or beater or anything like that. I'm just me, and I do it the way I do it. So and there are a lot of great people out there that do clay, so you can look them up on YouTube. And then again, I always want to tell you to go back and look at Wendy's videos if you've not seen them from the very beginning. She's got some great videos, and I have been binge watching. I haven't even got all the way through them, but I am binge watching those because they're such an inspiration for me. So I just wanted to encourage you in that as well. So again, I'm going to pause this, come back with the clay and what I did to mix the colors, and then I'll mix up the colors. So and I'll pause it a second time, mix up the colors, and then we'll come back and we'll make these things. Okay, I'll be back in just a few. Okay, so we're back, and what I decided to do is I went ahead and mixed up my clay, and then I'll just explain to you how I got the colors I got. Okay, this is just this one here. This is by the way, I think I'd forgotten to show you guys this. This is my tweezers that I told you that you can get on Amazon for like $7, and it's got a little scoop at the end. I love this. This is a great tool. I use it all the time. I use it to get into places that otherwise I can't get to. So all right, so I showed you just a little bit ago about the triple thick, but I will not do that on this video. Probably not. I don't know. I'm not going to do that. I want to try to make this video as nice as I can, give out as much information as I can, but that it doesn't take up a lot of time. Last 2 videos, I know the first one you couldn't see a whole lot. The second one was one that I did that it took longer than I thought to. So this one's going to be real simple. And after some of the after some of the comments that I received, I realized that a lot of, maybe not a lot, but some of you have never done clay projects before, so this might be new for you. And I told you that I am not a professional, so I'm gonna start these out for just beginners. We're gonna do some simple things, and then we'll kind of graduate and do things that are a little more difficult. I showed you a while ago, this is the paint that I used. It's a folk art. It's a color shift paint, and it says acrylic paint, metallic gloss finish. white. So we're going to use some of this on the snowman. Alright, so this this right here, this I've got 2 sheets of, got a little red on that. I've got two little sheets of my, it's called Frosted White. Now this is really pretty and I love it, and I don't know if you can see the shimmer in it. I hope you can. It's great and it's really pretty, but it's real hard to condition this. And if you're not familiar with how to condition polymer clay, I would suggest you go to YouTube, you look up videos on how to condition it. The reason why I'm not going to show you how to condition it is because there's a lot of videos out there that show you. Plus, I have a extremely old pasta machine, really, really old pasta machine, and I need to invest in a better pasta machine. So until I do, this pasta machine, it takes me a long time to condition things, and especially this glitter. The red here and the green, not so much. But this with the glitter in it, and it might just be because of the glitter, but it's more difficult to condition. At least for me it is. Plus, I'll give you a little hint, a secret. A lot of the clay that I use, it's old. I've had it for a long time. And for instance, this is the package for the glitter clay. It's called Frosted White Glitter. This package says, if you can read it, I don't know if you can read it, it says 2012. I'm just saying. I've done this for a long time. And I'm trying to use up some of my older stuff. And that's one of the reasons why I'm having such a difficult time with this. If you can get clay that's fresher, I would suggest that you do it. And I know there are, and I'll try to put that down in the description, where I think it's called Bottle Tree, maybe. They may have some clay, and I think it'll be a lot fresher for you, and you won't have such a hard time trying to condition it. So here's my glitter clay, and I'll go back. These are the pieces that we're going to be working on with that color. Okay. And then the earrings. Okay. These are the pieces we're going to use for this glitter white. Okay. Now, and again, I'll make probably some earrings with this. I'll probably do some, also some charms. Use those as charms as well. And I'll show you how I put all the faces on them. Then, so that's just pure frost glitter. So this piece, it's called Cadmium Red. And I don't know, to me it almost looks like an orange in person. See what, I'm going to look on here and see what the date on this one is. I don't see a date on this one. Oh, I'm sorry. This is Cadmium Red. There is a date, but I can't read it. Sorry, I cannot read it. Anyway, this is my Cadmium Red, and it wasn't so difficult so I'm thinking it must be newer, because it wasn't so hard to condition. But what I did I think the other video I was telling you about a stick, called it a stick. I don't know what else to tell you. There are actually, let me bring this. This is some transparent clay, okay? There are 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, what I call sticks, which is a section. There's 4 sections. If you will look right here, there's sections, right? This would be a section. This right here on the end would be one section. All right, So when I call something a stick of clay, that's what I'm talking about. So it's basically a fourth of a package of clay is what that is. I guess that would be, I need to use my words properly. So it would be a fourth of a package of clay. So what I did to mix this up, I took a fourth, this section here, I took a fourth of the cadmium red. I wanted some black because I wanted, to me, like I said, this, I don't know how it looks on camera, but to me it looked like almost a little bit of an orange side of red. I wanted it a little bit darker. So I've got some black clay here. And if you'll notice, I keep my clay in these little, you get them from Dollar Tree, okay? These little, I think they're 10 for $1.25 now. But I use these to store clay in. All right. So I took about this much, which I would say this is probably, I told you I used a fourth of red. So this is going to be like a fourth, like 1/16. Is that right? Because it's going to be, I'm not really good at measurements. I'm just going to tell you. But it'd be a fourth of this stick. So about right here. Okay. That's what I used. A ball about like this size. All right. And I mixed it with the cadmium red. And then I've got red on this. I've got red on my, see how my nails are from the clay bleeds. I usually wear my gloves, and I didn't. I need to do that. Plus my hands are so dry. All right, so on this I used a quarter of a package of the cadmium red. I used a fourth of one of the, what I call a stick, or I think it would be 1/16, or 1/8. And then it would be 1/16. Then I used about just an end piece, about this much of my glitter. And I added this to give it a little bit of a sparkle. And I think, hopefully the camera will show you the sparkle that this has. It has a sparkle to it. So that's what I did for this color. Now this one was left over from my original pieces. And what I did with this is actually, it's called Sea Foam Green. I don't know if they still make it or not. This is, again, that's the wrong package, Kim. Okay, here we go. This is my Sea Foam Green. Oh, excuse me, not sea foam, sea green. Okay. And this was from, I don't know, do I have a date? 1997, y'all. That's how old that clay is, 1997. Now, I have to tell you, for clay that's not from 1997, this green, sea green, did a fantastic job conditioning. I didn't have much of a problem with it at all. I'm just saying, I didn't. So, but that was the sea green, and it was a fourth of a package. One of these, a fourth of a package. Okay. And, oh gosh, I keep getting the red on there. Stop. And I also, with this, I wanted, because it was a little bit darker than I wanted it, but it ends up dark anyway after it bakes. This is all PREMO clay. All of it's PREMO. Okay. And I ended up taking, again, a fourth of one of these sticks here, okay, a fourth of it, and I added it to this green, sea green, to lighten it up. Now, I'm just telling you what I did. You can use any colors you want. You can use, like I said, you can use any colors you want. It's yours. Make it yours. Use the colors you want. But I just wanted to show you, because I don't want to say this is sea green and then you get a package of sea green and it doesn't look like this, okay? So I do a little mixing with my clays, my colors. And we might even get into some of that clay mixing and to come up with some different colors. And there's some, again, I'll go back to what I said earlier. There's a lot of people who do mix clay for colors, and you can find that all over the place too. Pinterest, all kinds of places, okay? The last color we're going to use is this color here. We're going to use a little bit of this. This is called, give me just a minute here. It's called Alizarin Crimson. And it's sort of a reddish brown. I'm going to look at the dates now. I'm real curious about the dates on this one. This one's from 1997. And it wasn't hard to condition. So I'm going to take a little bit of this. I have not conditioned this yet. But I'll take a little bit of this clay. And this is what we'll use for the tree trunk on these trees. Okay? I'll mix it up and we'll use this color for the tree trunks. All right. So I'll mix some of that up. So I'm going to lay this to the side. This to the side here. Let me see if I can condition this real quick. If I can condition this while we're on here, I'll do it. If not, I may turn you off and go condition it. Or not turn you off, but pause to try to condition this. But I don't need that much of this, but I don't know that the little piece I have here is going to be good enough. So we'll just take a little bit more, which I cut about a half, that's a little more than half because I didn't cut it straight, of a fourth of a stick, okay? So let me see if I can condition this. And again, I'm sorry for the words I'm using. I guess I need to find more words. I'm having a hard time finding my words. The proper language. All right. So what I do, let me show you this. Again, I've got clay on me. I'm trying to prevent this from getting all over everything. All right. Let me put these aside. I'm going to come up here. And what I do before I put it in my pasta machine, and you don't have to have a pasta machine. You can have a roller. And let me show you what I made. I will show you these because these are kind of neat. This is popsicle sticks. Okay. And I've glued popsicle sticks together. This has got 3 popsicle sticks. So it's 3 popsicles thick. All right. And I've made me 2 of those. And I'll show you how I use them in a minute. And then I have 3 sizes. Again, this is the 3. This is, and I've got them marked. I've got a number 3 on there. 3 popsicle thick. This is just so that sometimes if I don't want to use my pasta machine, I don't have to. Okay. This is 1.
This means it's just one single stick thick. That's all it is. This is 2. And I've got 2 popsicle sticks glued together for the thickness. And these come in real handy when I don't want to put everything, when I've already done sometimes it helps after I run everything through the pasta machine and I just want to roll it out. It helps with that. Now, usually when I condition my clay, you'll notice that just now I rolled it. I try to heat it up. I'll press it together. Let me show you. I get off angle here. I try to press it together. This is the way I condition it. Okay, I press it. I love, and I think I told you all, this is a wee glass mat, and I love it. Not matte, but it's a wee glass. And for polymer clay, I love it because, you know, it helps me know sizes, right? This would be a 2-inch square. Oops, let me try to do 2-inch square right here. All right. All right. And then I tried to do this in my hand. I'll roll it like this. I'll twist it. Whatever I can do to help get those clay molecules kind of pushed back together to condition it. It's okay. So that the other reason why I condition it off camera is because it shakes my camera, and I apologize. Sorry about that. So let's try not to do that. So we'll do it this way. I'm just kind of pushing it in, mushing it up. I'm going to roll it out thin enough to put it in my pasta machine. And again, I'm sorry for the camera shaking. See if I can get this conditioned. I run it through several times. Oh yeah, it's conditioning well. But like I said, this is from 1997 clay. That's what's written on the package. And I probably have had it that long. I'm just saying. Alright. Yeah, this is conditioning really well. I'm shocked. I really am. Some of the clays. Now, again, the other one I had, the glitter, frosted white glitter, not so much. It was extremely hard to condition. But this seems to be going really well. Alright, I'm going to run it through the pasta machine just a couple more times. And to get a lot of, if you go online and you check out places that have the, where you condition clay, they'll tell you to run it through like 15, 20, 30 times. And you'll know how much that you'll need to do it, because instead of it breaking apart on you, it'll be cohesive. It'll stick together. You won't have a problem with it. So, let me get this. All right. So here is that piece that I just conditioned. Okay, and I probably rolled it through about 10 times. I'm going to do it just a couple more times. And all we're going to do with this piece of clay, we're going to use it for our trunk of our tree. Now, okay, so here's that. There we go. All right, so that's done. Now, I always have wet wipes sitting on the side. Baby wipes, wet wipes, baby wipes. These are, I think, Walmart brand, and I have these to wash my hands off. I always wash off my tools. Okay, So again, I apologize for hitting the camera. And then I'm going to wash off the blade where I've cut the... Okay. And like I said, this seems pretty basic stuff, but I decided after some of the questions, I'd just go from the basics. And if you all need something else, you can let me know. Or if you don't want me to do this at all, that's fine too. But I am hoping to do some of the wood projects too that we talked about. So I'm hoping that will happen. All right, so clean off my acrylic thing a little bit better. All right. And again, I've got clay all over my nails. They're a mess. That's what happens when you work with clay. There's some other things I want to do with you all with clay too, is using ink. So we'll do some of that. We'll make some really pretty things, okay? And some of it will be things I've never done before, so it'll be all new to me too. All right, so let's start with our snowman. And here's our piece of clay for our snowman. I'm going to use this piece of paper here, and I use this, and I have one of these soap things, stainless steel things, and I just want to smooth that down. We're going to do it on both sides, just so I have a smooth surface, okay? All right, so here's that. I need to do that right there. It looks like where some clay has pulled up. I'm just going to make it better. Yeah, that's better. All right. Okay. And again, there's a lot of sparkle in this. So I'm going to take my Snowman Cutter, if I can find it. I had it laying out here. I know it's out here. Just bear with me. I've got to find it. Okay, there's my tree. I just had it. Oh, here it is on the side. Had it in with clay. So, again, these little containers that you get from Dollar Tree, I love them. So, I use these a lot. So, I've got my cutters, my Snowman cutters in here. It just helps me keep track of things. I got these, I think, from Hobby Lobby. There's the bigger snowman. Okay. And then there's this size of a snowman. And here's the little bitty baby snowman. Okay, so what I do, and let's get our piece out so you can see. I'm going to put this piece right there so we kind of have it setting out for us. So I took the cutter. Now I want you to notice the thickness. See how thick that is? Okay. This is how thick my piece is. And it's pretty much the same size. I think I actually doubled it up, but I don't think I'm going to double it up on this. This is on my thickest setting on my pasta machine. The problem is I can't tell you what number that is because my pasta machine has been messed up for a long time. And it's basically either thick or thin. There's not a whole lot in between. So, and I apologize. One of these days I'll get a better pasta machine. But, oh, I tell you how we can do it. Let's look at this. Now, this is one popsicle thick. Okay. That's pretty close. Let's look at 2 popsicle sticks thick. Yeah. It's 2 popsicles thick, if you'll notice. Pretty close to this one. Okay. So that's how thick this piece is.
So I'm going to take my cutter. I'm going to take my cutter and we're going to go right about here with this. And I'm going to cut out, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut out one of these, the bigger ones, just like this. I don't like that. It's got some red right there. I don't know. It won't look too bad. We're going to go ahead because we're going to paint over it anyway, so it won't matter. So right here. All right. And what I do, I have, you probably saw this the last time. This is my tile. It's a little 4x4 tile. Is that right? Yep. 4x4 tile. Okay, I've got a bigger one too, but this is the one. And I just use this to help leverage and push down on the cutter. Then I just do this a little bit. All right, pull it straight up. Now we're going to use the smallest one right here. Okay, and I'm going to have to eyeball this. Let me see if I can eyeball it. It's hard to do it with the camera in the way. Let me pull it closer to me. Well, I don't really want to do that. We're going to try it like this. I'm going to try to look through the camera. I'm not sure how well this is going to work. We're going to try. But you want to line it up the best you can at the top. And what I did is try to make it where, I think that looks pretty good. Maybe. Let me turn it just a hair. You know, it's so funny when I watch videos, I'm sitting back and I'm watching the videos and I'm like, no, go this way, do this, do that. And it's like, I don't know why we do, but we do. So I'm sure you all tell me, no, you need to go this way. And I apologize because I can't hear you. All right. So I'm going to take the cut, just like the cut that I did in this one. Okay. I'm going to take the cut right there. Again, I'm going to use my okay, and I mashed it down. I want to wiggle it just a little bit. And it did get stuck in there, which is not a problem. I take one of my tools and I just gently, actually I'm going to use this end, push it out the bottom, pull it up, and there it is. Okay. Actually, cut out that red spot right there. All right. And we'll mess with that later. I'll mess with the edges later. Okay, so let's look at this. We talked about, I told you about my tweezers. We've got my tweezers here on the sidelines. I've got my blade. This one is not a flexible blade, okay? It's pretty firm. This is a little bitty blade, a little more flexible, okay? But I like this blade. And then, of course, the acrylic roller, okay? And then my soap, stainless steel soap thing that helps with burnishing. Okay, so I'm going to raise this up right here. Going to pull this piece out. This is what we have. Well, it's not too awful bad. I probably could have come down a little bit more, but that's what we have, okay? So that is going to end up looking just like that one. All right, now I'll put this back in. Actually, I'm going to leave that out because I'm going to need it. So let's do this. Let's make the smaller version. That was the big one. Yep, that's my big one. This is the smaller version so that we can make some earrings. So again, I'm going to go right next to this. I think I'm going to go this way. I try to utilize as much as my clay up as I can. So we'll go right there. I first kind of let it sink in. Then I'm going to use this, make sure it's all the way down. Give it a little wiggle. And there again, it's stuck in that, but that's okay. This one is big enough I can take my finger to it. All right. So there's that one. We need we need one more of those. I think I'm going to go this away on that. I got enough room. Yep, I got enough room. Again, I'm going to go down here like this. Use this just to make sure it's all the way down. And I've got a good cut. Twist this just a little bit. Again, it's stuck just a hair in there, but that's okay. And there's my snowman. Okay, so we're going to set these two cutters aside. And I'm going to take this one. And we're going to go like this. And we're going to cut out, actually, let's go ahead and cut these out first. Now, as you'll notice, here's my earrings. This is what I did. All right, so we're going to take this and we're going to cut it out to make it look just like this. Or, well, we're going to hope we can do that. So again, I'm going to have to eyeball it up with the camera in my way. This is so hard to do. There's that side. That side. Ooh, it's hard to see because I can't get a good angle on this other side. All right, let's go this way just a hair. Okay. That looks like it's almost too far down. Let's go back up here just a little bit. I see that side. I see that side. We're going to tilt it just a hair that away. Oh, that's too much. Go that way. Yeah, I'm going to go right there. Hopefully it'll be good enough. We'll see. Oops. And I tilted it. I'm going to take it, push it down, take this. Okay. Not bad. Okay. Especially not being able to see very well around my head. Again, I'm going to take I'm going to try to push that with my finger. I'm afraid. Now, pull it out like this. Ah! And I can fix that. All right. So there we go. We'll set him to the side. We'll work on him in a minute. Okay, we have one more we want to do, one more earring. I'm going to put this up here. We'll do one more earring. We're going to eyeball this. We're going to try to get it as best we can. Okay, I see it on that side. And I don't like it too much. Put it back over this way. That almost looks crooked. The angle from the camera is not the best, so I apologize. Because it does look weird. Okay, but I think that might do it. I'm going to take it up just a hair. Go this way just a hair. Like I told you in the beginning, I'm a perfectionist. It drives me crazy. This probably isn't perfect, and but this is about the closest we can do, especially with me not being able to see real well. I'm going to push straight down on this. I'm just going to make sure it's all the way down. We're going to do that. I'm going to use this tip. It helps it come out a little bit better. And we'll clean this up. But there's that one. So let's look and see how this one looks. Not bad. Okay. So there are our earrings to match that one and that one. Okay, and I'm going to cut out, actually, I think I'm going to cut out as many of the little ones as I can, and we might only make a few on camera, but that way I want to make some charms and some earrings out of these too. So, let's pick a spot out on our pick a spot out on our clay right there. Okay, push this down, give it a little wiggle. Again, it's stuck in there. I'm going to use my tool, and it's stuck like that. So we're just going to take it. I'm looking through my camera trying to do this, and this is just confusing. And then, so we're going to take this at the very tip down here, if you can see it, as far as I can get it to that tip, right like that. And out it comes. Now, I haven't been using water on these cutters. These metal cutters, I find I don't really need to. But there is one that I'm going to put a little water on, and I'll show you in a minute what that, and that's going to be when we go to do that ornament. Here is another snowman. I want to get an even amount of snowmen, or tribe anyway. Okay. Use this. Come in here. Push him out from the big side. Okay. We have another snowman. See how many more of these we can get. I think, let me see. Okay, there's one right there. So I'm going to push it down. Okay, again, I'm sorry for the shaking of the table. Apologize. Or the camera. Pull it up. Again, it's like that. We're going to flip this over. And we're going to push. Actually, you know what? I'm going to try to push on this. No, I'm going to push at the fatter end. Because the top is just way too small to put anything up there. And I'm afraid to tear it up. So. There is another snowman. Alright, we're going to go back up here. Try to get one out of there. Make sure I got enough room. Yeah, I do. Okay. There we go. Go down a little bit. I think that's good. Actually, you know what? I could do it this way. Yeah. I think that'll work. So I'm going to put this on top of there, mash it down, wiggle it a little bit, take this, worked out just fine. We're going to push this right in here, push that through. All right, another snowman. So right now we've got 2, 4, 6, 7. I don't know if I can get 2 more of these or not. But we'll just do 1, 2, 4, 6. We'll do 8. Do one of these. All right. Last one. Okay. There we go. Take this out of our there. And like I said, I'm going to have to do a little cleaning up. Now I'm going to take this scrap up. Okay. And I'm going to take this and we're just going to
I'm going to mush this all back up here. Kind of put it in a ball. And I'm going to put it back in my package. I think it's this package up here. Is this my frosted? Yeah. Frosted white glitter. And like I said, this was from 2012. Alright, so there's that. I think before, oops, my handle came off of my pasta machine. Alright, I'm going to take this wet wipe and clean up just a little bit here. And I'm going to use a paper towel and kind of dry it up a little bit. Alright. Top back on my cadmium red. Clean up a little bit. Get this stuff out of the way. Alright. Now, what we're going to do, I'm going to put all these sticks back up and get, so I can have some work surface. I don't think I need these right now. If we need them, we'll get them back out. So let's look at this guy. This is our for our pendant. He looks pretty good. There's some things, what I try to do, I don't know if you can tell, but it needs a little bit of work getting some of the edges cleaned up. And some of the edges on the, especially on this glitter, frost glitter polymer clay, some of it might be the actual glitter, but what I try to do is clean up as much as I can the edges, okay, so that the edges are smooth. I don't want to, a lot of people will sand down their polymer clay. I do, but I don't. I want to have fun. I don't want to have to do cleanup work all the time with the polymer clay. So what I do, I actually use nail files. And that's how I sand my edges from a polymer clay if they need sanding. But I do spend a little time cleaning up the edges just like I'm doing now so that I don't have to do it later after they've come out. Okay, I try to do as much of this now as I can. Then I'll do the rest after they are cleaned or after they come out of the oven. Now what I do, it looks pretty good. Okay, so what I do with these, I will use my Still soap because I need to buff that a little bit. So, but what I am going to do, if you will notice, again, the hole at the top, I'm going to try to get a hole in there. So I'm going to use, let me try to find it. I don't like, I have an awl, but I don't like using the awl because it's really too thick. Okay, I have a bead ring right here. This is my bead ring, okay? So I'm going to take my bead ring, and I hope you can see this. I'm going to go about halfway between the two edges, and I'm just going to turn my bead ring, okay, very slowly, okay, back and forth to kind of work a hole in right there, Okay. Now you can see where it started. I have to use my tweezer here. I've got some kind of like a hair or something. I don't know what that is. Yep, I believe it's a hair. Let me see if I can get that out of the way. Yeah. Did I get it? Well, it's gone. I don't know what happened to it. All right, so again, I'm going to go back to using my bead reamer and try to work a hole in this. Okay, and it's come down at the bottom. See that? You see that? Okay. Now I'm going to pull this out. I'm going to shape this back up. I'm going to take this and kind of do that. The hole is still there. Underneath, I'm going to take this tool that I have, and I'm just going to kind of try to smooth that down the best I can. Okay. Again, I try to do as much of the work on the edges and stuff as I can before it bakes, so I don't have so much cleanup work afterwards. That looks pretty good. All right. Now, as you can tell, it's kind of flimsy. It comes out of the oven. It's not going to be like that. All right. I'm going to move this to the side. I'm going to put this here. I'm going to bring back over my cardstock that I had. I'm going to lay it on top of here. I'm going to take my soap dish here, and we're just going to, I forgot, again, I'm having difficulties with my words, but it just smooths down anything on the surface that is not smooth, okay? So we're going to pick it back up, just like this, and it looks pretty clean. Again, I'm going to go around these edges a little bit. There's a little bit there. I want to take this, try to fix this top up a little bit. There we go. Okay. That looks good. Backside looks good. It's got a little red on it, but I don't care. It's not a big deal. This, I just put a little more red on it. I'm going to try this one more time. Just a little bit on this edge, because I am not liking that edge right there. Well, it's smooth. It just looks weird. Okay. All right, so I think this is going to be good. So what I'm going to do, I told you I had a bigger tile. That other one I used was a 4x4. This is probably like, I think this is an 8x8. Maybe. Let's see, it is, no, this is a 6x6. Now what I do is I will put these on here. This is what I use to bake my polymer clay on, okay? So we're going to put that right there. I'll go ahead and use this, so I'll keep it here. We're going to take this next piece, which is the earring piece. Again, I'm going to clean up the edges just a little bit. Get some of that, any crumbs that I have. Try to get that cleaned up a little bit. I'm trying to stay in camera shot, and again, I'm doing my best to do that. So I'm hoping this is what we're doing. Okay, so I want to take this and just kind of smooth it out a little bit, very lightly smooth it out. Okay, just kind of pat it in. Get some of these crumbly pieces off the edge. And again, I think a lot of that is the glitter. Look on the back side. Yeah. Now, on this one, go back to this. I put the hole in the middle. If you can see that. So I'm going to lay these two. These have already been baked. I'm going to set them over there. And we're going to take this and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to try, eyeball it is what I do. Let me push, I don't like the way that looks. Okay. All right. So I'm going to hold it between my two fingers. I'm going to push this down about halfway. And again, I'm just turning it very so slightly. I don't want it to deform my clay. Okay, I'm doing it very light twist back and forth because I don't want it to mess up, distort my clay. That's the word I'm trying to find. And again, sometimes I have difficulty with my words. I apologize. But here we go. Now it looks like it's coming through, but it's not on this side. So we're going to continue. And if you will notice, we're pulling it in from the bottom. We're twisting. Okay. And look, there it is coming out the bottom. All right. See that? Now I'm going to pull this out. We're going to set it to the side. And I'm going to take this. It looks pretty good. The hole looks pretty good there. See how this is bulging? I don't know if you can see it, but it's bulging just a little bit. So I'm going to smooth that out because I don't want that bulge there. We're going to take the back. We're going to take this rounded edge. And again, we're going to try to get this cleaned up a little bit. I'm going to take my bead ream and I'm going to go back in this direction. Make sure that hole is clean. And it seems to be clean. Okay, that's good. Now I'm going to go to the inside edges. I'm going to use, again, this tool to kind of just very lightly clean up the inside of my piece. Now, the thing about these these cutters, cookie cutter things like this, it leaves a extra little piece. That's why you kind of have to, smooth those out because you don't want that hump. It makes a place in your clay. So you just use it, kind of do what you can. Okay, that looks good. The edge on that looks pretty good. Clean that edge up. That looks pretty good. And like I said, I will take a file and get the little bits I didn't get, cleaning them up here with the file. All right, there we go. So that is one of the earrings. Do the same thing on this one. Now I'm going to see if you can tell. Okay, so there's like a little, I don't know if you can see it. Right here, there's like a little ridge, right, that's coming up. See how smooth that? I smooth that one down. Well, I'm going to do the same thing. Oops, put that back up here. I'm going to do that with this one. We're going to smooth that down before we put the hole in it. And we're just going to take the tip of that and just kind of smooth it. That's one of those places that's in, like I said, with the cookie cutters, it puts a mark on here. All right. So, again, we're just trying to clean up these edges a little bit, get what we can, some of the little pieces, and get what we can, and then we'll go back and I do a little bit of sanding on the edges. I try to get as much as I can because when you work with especially holes inside, the inside holes are kind of hard to sand, okay? So I try to get them as clean and smooth as possible so I don't have a hard time with that because it is hard to do that. It's hard to get a file inside these pieces. Okay, so I'm just taking the edge of that, cleaning that up a little bit. Let's clean this up a little bit more. Okay, do that. Get that little crumb off of there. Get the crumbs off of here. Now, when I go to bake, there's some people that go to bake, and when they go to bake, they'll bake directly on the tile. I put a piece of paper. I will lay these pieces on a piece of cardstock. This stuff, okay? Because I don't want the shiny spots on the back of the clay. If you don't do that, you'll have shiny spots. Some people, it doesn't matter. If you use something like resin or something like this triple thick on the back, you can sort of cover it up, but you can still kind of see it. So I don't like doing that. There are some people who do. They'll sand it. You can sand it down. Again, I don't like sanding, so the easiest thing I can do is what I try to do. I don't want it to be hard. I want to make it as easy for myself and others as I can. So here is this and this. That looks pretty good. So let's start working on these little guys. And again, these are my little bitty snowman. Here's one of the examples on it. And I don't know if you can see the detail on him, but he's got quite a bit of detail. Now, the black hat, let me tell you how I did this. I actually took a Sharpie black, and we color after it's baked, a Sharpie, and I'll show you how I did that, around his head here. That's what I did, okay? And I just used that Sharpie on him, on his hat. Now, there's detail. He's got 2 eyes, he's got a nose I cut out, and he's got a mouth. Then down here, he's got 3 buttons. He's got little bitty hands, kind of made out of stick-looking things. Eventually, I might put some paint in that or put something in there to make it look more of a brown, but I just haven't done that on these. Only thing I've done is painted them, okay, with the color shift that I was telling you all about, okay? But for him, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing with this guy. Let me do this before we go on to him. I want to just make sure, again, these pieces are... I'm going to move him a minute. I'm going to look at my pieces. Just make sure they look good. And I think they look fine. I don't know. Let me do this right up here. Again, it's that perfectionism thing in me. Can't help it. Burnish. That's the word. This is what I'm doing. I'm burnishing. Burnishing. Okay. So, that's not... Yeah, and you can't feel it. So, that's fine. It's kind of the same thing down here. And a lot of that, I think, is left from the glitter. So those are fine. We're going to go with that. So let's work on this little guy. I'm going to clean him up the best I can with some of the crumbs and stuff that's... just make sure that the edges are cleaned up. No crumbs on the edges. That's the biggest thing with these guys here. And I think most of them's pretty good. Got a little bit of edges. Okay. I think I was... Oh, here's... Again, this is... I don't know if you can see it, but this is where the cutter is. So this edge has like a dip in it. So I'm just going to take the tip of this, and we're smoothing it down to get rid of that weird piece that's sticking up there, okay? Then I take my finger and I just kind of smooth it out, really. And you can't even tell it was there. There we go. Can't even tell it's there. It's gone. All right. There's a little indent there. Let me burnish that edge just a little bit and see if I can get that cleaned up. Yep. Okay, there's that. All right, so he looks pretty good. So here's what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do him. I'm going to take this needle tool, or not this needle tool, this bead reamer,
Okay. And I'm just going to, and I'm going to hold him up here so I can see it. This is his hat. So I'm going to take, I need to do this up here. I'm going to take, and basically the bottom of his hat, just like this, and I'm basically drawing a line. Just very light with my bead reamer. Okay. I do that because that defines his hat. And then once he's baked, we can paint him. And then I'm just doing it back here. Go all the way back. Okay, very lightly. Try to do it lightly as best you can. So I'm going to take this and just kind of smooth that out a little bit. Get any crumblies off of it. Okay. Go back around here. Do this side. I think a lot of the crumblies, again, is the glitter. Do this here. Okay. So this is the hat part. This is the hat. Again, we got him pretty good. That's his hat. All right, so now I'm going to take my bead reamer and we're going to go ahead and I'm going to do the hole in the middle of his hat so that we have a place to put our jump ring. And I'm going to put it right there, okay? Now, kind of squished him down a little bit, and that's okay. Let's see the back of it. We're going to clean that up a little bit. I'm going to take this. I'm so sorry. I'm hitting this camera. It is hard to do this. Okay, so there we go. We'll clean that up a little bit. Take the reamer back through the back side. And kind of turn it like we did. There we go. And make sure that that's cleaned out. Okay. So there's that. Now I think I'm only going to do one of these on camera, and I'll do the rest of them off camera. I don't think you need to sit here and watch me do this whole thing on these. Okay, so there's our snowman. We have his hat. We have his little place for the jump ring. Okay. Now, let's give him some eyes and a nose. And let me see what give me just a second and see. I used my tiniest, well, not my tiniest. I used one of these. Actually, I got this from, this one's smaller. I got these from Dollar Tree. I'm just telling you. Dollar Tree, I try to find what I can at Dollar Tree. Okay, so let's look at our guy here. He's got two eyes. So we're going to put his two eyes. That looks like that's a lot bigger. Give me just a minute. I want it really, really small. Oh, never mind. I found it. This I did not get at, I got this offline. I did not get this at Dollar Tree. All right, so this is what I used. I knew I had a smaller one. Actually, I like this end better. So we're going to do his eyes. Going to give him just a little indenting for an eye right there. Another indent for an eye right here. Again, you can do what you want. This is how I do it. Just do the little indent. Then I actually go between the eyes at the bottom, kind of between the eyes, and I make a nose. And I just pull it down and I make kind of a little bit of curve in the nose, okay? Then I take and I go over here and I just do 1, 2, 3, 4. I did 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 little circles to make his mouth. Can you all see that? Let me see if I can make this go up a little bit. Okay, I'll do that. So we've got his 2 eyes right here. His 2 eyes right here. We've got his nose that's kind of coming down. Looks like a carrot, sort of. Got 4 little dots for his mouth. Okay. Now I'm going to do 3 dots down his chest. And I'm going to use this end, the bigger end. And we're going to make 1, trying to get off camera again, 2, 3. Kind of like 3 little buttonholes. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Now, I'm going to have to put him down to do this. Whoops. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little end again that we had. I'm going to have to hold him so I can see to do him. We're going to, I take kind of up here and I pull down. That's what I'm doing. I'm pulling down to make his arm. Then I'm going to go out this way and then out this way. So you kind of have a stick, if you will, a stick arm, just like this. So that's one of his, it's one of his hands. Okay. Then I'm going to go to the other side, get the clay off of that end of that. We're going to go to the other side. Let's see if I can do this. We're going to go to the other side again, and we're going to start up here, pull him down, okay? Then I'm going to go out this way, and then go out this way. Pull straight down, go out this way, go out that way to make his hand. Okay. So he's got 2 little hands, okay? That's all you do. I'm going to bake him. We'll put him in the oven. We'll bake him. And then what I'll do is when he gets done baking, we'll paint, we'll paint his body. And then we'll take his little hat and we'll use a Sharpie. I have little thin Sharpies for that. And we'll take care of his hat. Okay, so I'm not going to do the rest of those on here. I've shown you how to do one. That's all we're going to do with him because we've got several things we have to do. All right, so again, basically these are all ready to go into the oven, okay? All right. So let me put these little guys out to the side up here. Get them out of our way. I'm going to pull that back out a little bit. Okay. We're going to set these guys over here and I'll finish those off camera. Okay. All right. So we've done our snowman until we have to do the second part to them. Now, the next thing I think I'm going to do, I'm going to take this. I'm going to get my towel out of the way for a minute. We're going to take this piece of cardstock here, and I am going to burnish this because I have little bitty pieces of clay. And I want to get them to cooperate and stay down. So I'm just going to burnish both sides of this piece of clay, okay? All right. So I'm going to take my little blade, pull him up. I want to take a look at him. All right,
going to set that to the side. Okay, so that's what we have. Nope, I need to burnish a little bit more. Let me see what else we got. Yeah, I'm going to have to burnish him a little bit more. This red clay is coming up like little bitty pieces of it. All right, again, I'm going to take this. I'm going to burnish a little bit more. Ooh, sorry for shaking the table. I apologize. There's not a whole lot I can do about that. I'll try not to shake it as much as I can. All right. Again, pull that back up. I think it's all right. And I'm going, this is my cutter. Now, I want to say I probably got this, does it say? It says Place and Time, Wonderland. I might have got this at Michael's. It was $1.99. Might have been a Joann. It says Joann on it. So I got this at Joann's. Now this is the thing that I'm going to use a little bit, not a whole lot. I'm going to use a little bit of water. I've got, again, I got these little bottles at Dollar Tree. This one has water in it. I've got one over here that has, because I do some cleanup with alcohol, okay? Sorry about that. That was outside, going in front of my house. All right, so I'm going to use a little water, and I'm just going to spray this just a little bit. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to do this a little bit. And then I'm going to wipe it out just a little bit, shake it out, make sure there's not like excess in there. Okay. All right. Because on this one, I tried to do the same thing and it didn't work. I wanted to get, if you will notice in this cutter, it has, see this? It has a really cool design. Well, I was trying to get it to happen on this one. It didn't work. So I'm going to try again. And we're going to make this a little bit different. It is the same cutter. It's just we're going to try to do, use it, the centerpiece. So I'm going to take this, and let me pull my clay up a little bit because it looks like it's down too far. Okay. Okay, so we're going to take this. I'm going to turn this over. Now, I've got it in place. Bring it down a little bit. Okay, right there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to push this down. This little spring thing here. Just like that. Okay? And I'm going to put as much, and again, I'm sorry for shaking the camera. I'm going to put as much force on this as I can to get that imprint. Okay? I want a good imprint. Then I'm going to pull up. We're going to bring this down. Make sure the cutter's there. I'm going to use this one more time. Make sure the spring is there. Hopefully everything's a go. If it's not, we'll just do it like the other one. We won't mess with it too much. I'm going to turn it up. It just popped up. I'm thinking it got a good, it should have gotten a good thing on it. Oh, sweet. Yes. Okay. So, I'm going to take my blade. I'm going to pull, wait a minute, let me go back down. I want this to cut a little bit better. All right, so let me, again, all right, pull it back up. Now there is water on top of this, but that's okay. And this is what we've got. Let me dry it off a little bit with my paper towel. Oops, I keep hitting this camera. I'm sorry, guys. All right, so there we go. That's pretty cool. So here's what we started with. Okay. A couple of the holes didn't do so well, but that's all right. Because what I'm going to do, I want to
run this back through. I'm going to have to run this back through because this is really, I think it's too thin. I'm going to run this piece back through a second time, and we're going to put a backing on it of the same thing. This will be a good time for me to show you my backing. So let me see if I can get this, okay, to go through my pasta machine as nicely as I did the green. Again, I'm going to take it, I'm going to put this up here where you can see it, roll it out a little bit till I get it thin enough where I can get it in the pasta machine. Okay, pull it back up. I'm going to run it through the pasta machine. See what we've got. Put my handle back on. Run it through one more time. Okay. All right. So I'm going to take just the cutter. Okay. And I'm putting the cutter on here. And all I'm doing is I'm not going to push this down because I don't want I'm just going to do the fancy thing on the one side. We'll just do it on the one side. So here we go. Take this, clean this up. I'm going to have to burnish this. I don't know why that's like that, but we'll burnish it. It'll be all good. Get some of these crumbs up here. Put that over to the side. Okay. Put this up here. And burnish it. All right. All right. Pull this back up. Now this flattened out a little bit, but that's okay. Let me burnish that a little bit more. Because I'm going to recut it out. Once I'm going to put it together and then I'm going to recut it out because it helps it stick together. Okay, so that's what we've got. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to take this where we flipped this over. I'm going to put it back on here just like this. There we go. Okay, there we go. We're going to take the cutter. I'm going to line it up again, and basically we're cutting it out. It gets a little bit of the crumbles off of it. Now, it is stuck in here, which is not a good thing, but we'll figure it out. We'll get it out of here. There is a little hole right here. I'm going to try to pull it up from that. I'm going to go ahead and try to pull it up from that. Yep. And then I'll make it fit. We'll clean it up. All right. So I'm going to take my tool again. This tool, this is thick. Okay, there you go. This is thick, but that's okay. Okay. And I'm going to take my finger now when I put these two pieces together like this,
for the most part, I like to use my finger and just smooth things down. Get them squared up, smooth back down, line them up, get these. Now I do take this flat edge here and we'll just kind of sweep over this. Now if you'll notice, those things come right out. Just give it a little bit of attention. Okay, right there. Again, it just melds those two pieces together. Okay. And again, I am just trying to make it as smooth as I can. And I'm taking this, and again, we're just and then take my finger and smooth all this out. Now that side over there got a little distorted, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and make the line better. But let's get our edges and get those cleaned up. And again, I'm just going to make these, smooth these out. Okay. As best we can. Okay, there's that. This, we want to smooth these out. Make these as clean as we can. There we go. Okay. All right, now let's do this. Again, let's do this top part. Smooth them out as much as we can. This does take some patience to do this. Okay. Oops. I keep hitting the camera. But there is something about working with clay that's really relaxing. I mean, I like it. Part of me is a little nervous because I'm doing, because I'm doing this with you all. Not just doing it. But you are going to see my mistakes, just like that one right there. You're going to see my mistakes, but you know what? Nobody's perfect. And I'm not trying to say I'm perfect with this, because I'm not. And like I said, there's a lot of people out there that does polymer clay. And they do a lot better than I do. I'm just saying, they do. But I do enjoy this. I enjoy all the videos that are coming out of Wendy's channel. And again, I can't say it enough. I'm so grateful to Chris for his continuing the channel and allowing us to just have fun with you. And I'm learning so much from everybody. I really am. We've got a great group of ladies. I'm hoping maybe one of these days I'll get to meet some of them. That would be nice. All right, so I'm just,
again. I'm just trying to smooth out these edges. I'm almost done. Smooth out these edges where they look nice. Okay. And I'm going to fix this in just a minute. I'm going to show you how I fix it. All right, so that's kind of curving in. We don't want that to happen. I'm going to come back here on this edge. We're going to kind of make this, do this a little bit smoother here. And then I'm going to work on this side. And we're just going to very lightly, I'm not using lots of pressure. I'm very lightly just smoothing. Whoops, I am so sorry, guys. Very lightly, I am smoothing out these edges, okay? Just like this. Smoothing out these edges. Then I take my finger and I run it across. Just like this. Now, I'm going to take this. I cleaned up the edges. I think that looks good. Let's look at the back of it. A couple of things I need to do here on the back. There's little bitty pieces. We're going to get the little bitty pieces off. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to see how this has this little bitty line going over here. So I'm going to take this tool that we had a while ago. I'm taking the smallest end, and I'm basically going to redefine these lines, make them a little more distinct. Okay, just like that. Just like this. That looks like that's a mess right there, but okay, I see it's got a little piece coming down. So we're going to take this again and run this just like this right down here to connect. We're going to get all those little fuzzy places off of there. And like I said, you have to have some patience. It's going to take some patience because there's just got to clean it up a little bit, okay? Take my finger, mash it back in. I'm going to take this end, this end of it, okay? And we're just going to do this number, and we're just going to smooth it out, smooth it out. I think it was a hair of some sort. Probably mine. My hair falls out. All right, so we're going to do this. Clean that up a little bit. Again, go back here, lightly do this. Okay, we're going to come in here, and I'm going to do the same thing. We're just going to make a little indent that's coming around this corner. So it's just like this side, okay? Make sure there's no clay on here. And we're just going to come around, make this little edge, just like that. All right. And we're really just working with the clay. Don't let it get the best of you. All right. Then we're going to come down here and do basically the same thing. We're just going to make it come down just like the other side. Open this up, open this up, just like that. Now I'm going to put a little bit of clay right here. See if I get a little bit of clay. I'm going to put a little bit of clay right here to fill this side in a little bit. It needs a little bit of help right there, just like that. Okay. Take this again. We're going to smooth it out. Have it become a part of this piece. All right. There we go. I'm going to go back with this tool again. And we're just going to do this. Just like that. Just like that. Okay. Do this right here. And then we're just going to take another little piece and put it right here. Oops. Right there. Okay. And again, we're going to take this end of our tool right here. Now this is the, I'm showing you. I'm showing you all the fixing things. Now, I didn't have to do this on the other one because all I did was use the cutter to cut out the shape. Well, on this one, I decided to do the design. So this cutter is probably not the best for that design, I'm just saying. But we're going to make it work. All right. There we go. Again, I'm going to take this tool, get that little piece of clay out, or whatever that was. Going to come back here. And there we go. All right, so there we go. I'm going to take this. Now I'm going to do, let me clean this up a little bit right here, get this out of the way. I'm going to take this piece, going to move that to the side. So I'm going to take this piece, and if you'll notice, there are, I'm going to burnish this and it'll clean it up a little bit. So there are some, I need the bigger one. Okay, there are some designs in this, and it's basically these, right? I'm just going to push them in a little bit more. Hang on a second. I'm going to have to plug my phone in. so my phone don't die. So give me just a second. All right. So I'm going to pause this just a second. Let me make sure I can get this plugged in. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I'm just using my ball tool, and I'm getting in these little crevices here just to kind of make it a little bit better. All right. I'm going to burnish this one. Okay, let me bring this back up a little bit further so you can see it. Burnish a little bit more. All right. Okay, so let's take a look at this and see what this looks like. All right. Now what I'm going to do on this one, I'm going to put the little indents a little bit more in that one. I think I am going to burnish this one side over here a little bit more. Right there. Now what I'm going to do is I'll bake these, and then we're going to decorate them after we bake them. So this will probably be the only video for these, just cutting out these pieces and kind of get them to where we want them, because it's already longer than I had anticipated, I think. Yes, it is. So, again, I'll clean this up a little bit. But basically, this is what we're doing. Okay. I'm going to put this aside. We're going to bake this. We'll come back and we'll decorate it. I might clean it up a little bit more, but I want to go on and move into the last thing that we're doing. And then I will do a separate video. And I think the next video I'll do, I'll just come back. We'll decorate these pieces after they've been baked. And then we'll probably put them together as well. We won't be able to do that. We'll come back, we'll decorate them. I'll show you how I do that, and then I might do it in that one. We'll put some pieces together, okay, some jewelry pieces together. So the next thing we're going to do our tree. So let me put this to the side. I'll clean that up a little bit more before I bake it. And I'm putting that again on that tile that I showed you earlier, okay? Let me get this red out of the way so I can get this cleaned up a little bit. Move that. So now I want to do the tree. Now, I think what I'm going to do on the tree, I showed you the bigger one. I think I'm going to do earrings to match that. So I think I'm just gonna, I'll show you how I'm gonna do that, because I only have the big cutter. This big cutter is all I got. But I want to make some earrings to match these, okay? So what I'm gonna do is we'll get our piece out here. There's the piece, right? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut out 2 of these. Trees. All right, and then cut out another one, but I'm going to make them smaller. All right, and here's the second piece. I'm going to make sure I'm still in view. All right, So here's my 2 pieces. So again, I have, well, let me burnish both sides before we start working on them. I'm going to burnish both of these. And I want to burnish both sides. Okay, there's one side. Okay. And I don't like that one. I'm going to have to burnish it better. I already see that it's not what I want it to be, so let me burnish it. And I'm off camera view, so let me bring it back up here. Okay. And I don't know why that has that little place in it, but I don't like that. But I think what I am going to do, I'm going to double these up, so that's what I'll do. I'll double them up. And I'll show you how I did that on the other ones, because that way you get a feel. So I'll make... It's like I'm actually going to be making 4 of these trees. But here's what we're going to do. So I'm taking these 2 and I'm going to lay them on top of each other just like this. Okay. I'm going to take my cutter, which is this, and I'm going to go back. I'm going to burnish them together one more time. Then I'm going to take, and I'm going to cut these bad boys out again. Just like this. Alright, just like that. I'll take my blade, pick it back up. And I think it's where the blade got into it. I think that's what happened before. Okay. Now what I do is, what I did on this one here, I just took off this bottom edge and then I added this piece. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make these shorter because again, I want these to be earrings and I don't want them quite as big. So I'm going to take and bring it down to about there. I'm going to take this bottom section off and we're going to mold. We're going to do a little bit what we did with the ornament that we just now did. I'm going to take this and I'm just going to go and I'm going to take this and I'm rub the ends. We've got a straight piece. Well, we don't want that straight piece, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to smooth this down as best I can. And I'm going to mold this. I'm going to shape it to kind of look like this. So I'm going to take my blade. I'm going to go like this. Cut that edge off. Okay. Going to do the same thing on this side. Kind of make it. Then we're gonna round these off. I want them rounded. Make it look more like a tree. Right? We're gonna round it off. And like I said, I love working with clay. So we're going to give it a few little, kind of a little indents, if you will, too. Kind of like, let's see how I can do this. Just like a little skirt at the bottom. Okay, see how we're kind of doing that? Make sure it's both sides. All right, all right. All right. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back and I'm going to burnish this again. Burnished it. To the other side, burnish it. Okay. I'm going to take a wet wipe and get a little, see if I can get that. Nope, I can't. Ah. Get that fuzz off of there. Okay. I'm going to go back and burnish just a little bit more. Okay. Bring it up, turn it over, burnish this side. Okay. And there's what we have, okay? Get some of that fuzz. Where's my, this is where my tweezers are gonna come in good at, right here. Get some of those marks, some of those things off of there. I'm gonna have to burnish it again, but that's okay. Again, you're seeing everything with this, and that's okay. All right. I got fuzzies on my hands. Okay, so I'm going to do one more time. I'm going to just kind of do this a little bit. We're going to make sure those edges are cleaned up the best they can be. And like I said, you can't even tell that these are two pieces of clay together, right? We're going to do that. Do this. Do this. And this. Just like that. Okay. So, there's that one. And then we're going to take just a little bitty piece out of this. I'm only going to show you one of these. We're going to take a little bitty piece out of our, this brown clay. And we're going to make the tree at the bottom. And straighten it up a little bit. And I think what I want to do that just a little bit more, straighten it up just a little bit more. And I'm going to do just kind of a square out of what this is. Just like that. And we are going to attach this to the bottom, just like that. And the way we're going to do it, we're going to get these, smooth these edges out. Okay, smooth these edges out. And we're going to put it right up here against this, in that spot, just like that. Just like that. I'm going to burnish this so the two pieces are together. A little bit more at this bottom. You can kind of tell where it needs to be burnished at, okay? You want it to come together as one piece. And I'm going to take, again, I'm going to take this tip and we're just going to make it, smooth it out best we can right here. And to make it come up into that. Okay. Again, I'm going to burnish it. Get a piece of that red off of there. Burnish it. And this is our tree. And I'll make a duplicate. I'll make another one. Now what I'm going to do though is while you're here, I'm going to put in those holes that I made for that to decorate it. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to put, we want to make sure we get our bead drill hole right there. We'll flip it over, do it on the back. Now, there are people who drill them afterwards. I do both. I do mine both ways, but I do kind of like doing it while the clay is like this, if you can. That way you can kind of have that hole turn out the way you want that hole to turn out. And before I put the triple thick on it, because once you put the triple thick and stuff, again, it has a tendency to go in those when you drill the holes in them, and after you put the triple thick in, it tends to pull it up. So the whole thing, by going ahead and putting the hole in while the clay is like this, then you don't have to worry about it. You can just be careful and not get the triple thick in the hole. All right, so this is our piece. This is our tree. Now what I'm going to do, let's take this as our sample. We're going to, what I did is I put some holes in it just like this. Some, kind of like what we did with the ornament that we had. Just some little indentions like this. And we're going to come back and put some things that look like ornaments in it, okay? We're going to use, let me show you what I have. And I got these from Dollar Tree, except these were that Dollar Tree, this was a Dollar Tree item that wasn't a Dollar Tree item. It was the +3s, and it's called mini diamond fillers. And when we come back, after these have been baked, and we come back, I'll show you how I utilize these in the pieces. That's what made these shinies in here in this piece, okay? So, and that's why I'm doing these holes. I'm doing it so when we come back, we can just fill that up with these shiny pieces. Next, what I did is I took, and I'm going to take the speeding tool. I'm going to lift this up. And I just started doing lines like what a tree would have. I just started just really lightly coming down. I think it will do better with this. I started coming down very lightly with this tool and just making like branches, making it look like there was branches. Just like this, okay? Branches coming down. Just very lightly taking this tool and doing this, and it gives it texture. Can you see that? It gives it some texture. So I'm going to finish this up. I'm going to do the second earring off camera. I'm going to finish up our snowman up here, and then I'll come back after everything's baked and we'll put them back together. So there will be a part 2 to this, because if we do it tonight, you'll be here all night long. So we're not going to do that. So thank you all for your patience, and we'll come back. We'll put these pieces together. They'll look like this. And then we'll put a piece of jewelry together. Okay. So, and just have fun with it. It's real relaxing to do this. And I just have fun with it. I really do. So one thing down here on our trunk, I'll take this and I'll just do my lines down, straight down. Just like this. Goes into the clay a little bit. It just roughs that clay up and looks like a tree trunk. There you go. All right. Well, if y'all have any questions or comments, please leave them. But I'll get back on here probably in a couple days, and we'll finish this project up. All right. Until then, bye. Thank you for your patience, and I hope I stayed in view for you a little bit better this time. I'm really trying hard. You know, I'm not perfect at this, but I'm really trying hard to do this. So if you have any questions,